can I assume that all of you has at least an overview of what MTCS SS, Multi-Tier Cloud Security Standards, is all about? And this is a Singapore standard, okay? Okay, I see quite a few nodding of heads, so I suppose so, okay? And I believe you're also quite aware of ISO 27001 standard, okay? And in particular, the standard has a 2013. We are talking about 2013 standard and not the 2005 standard, okay? So in terms of certification, cross-certification, okay, the target audience are really the people who will be certified, as well as the people who might be the certifier. Okay, so some of you are maybe running operations, managing operations of cloud security, but some of you may also be auditors over here. If you go back to the last slide, okay. Now, when we talk about cross-certification, MTSS to ISO, what we are really talking about is that for people, I know there are not many yet, for people who are really MTCS certified, okay, what are the additional requirements, which means the gap, okay, in order to get you to ISO 27001. Okay, that's the key what we are addressing. Okay, so of course, what if you are 2005 certified? Well, we know the certification standards for 2013 are different. Okay, so you really then have to focus on 2013. Okay, and you know, we will be providing some of the documents that can help you, and this will form part of what we're going to share with you today. Yeah. Feel free to ask any questions if you like to. Huh? Yeah. So, as I highlighted, okay, CSPs and those who are interested in obtaining certification, you'll be interested in this session, as well as auditors, okay, CBs and auditors. Okay. So the other questions about what if CSP is already 2005 certified, okay. So now, if you are 2005 edition, certified to the 2005 edition, then you will need to upgrade your ISMS, okay, to comply the requirements of the new editions, okay. And the transition period of upgrading has not yet been decided, but typically this is about 2 to 3 years from when the new editions were published, okay. And at the end of this transition, the only valid certificates will be that, or those of the stated conformity to the new requirements of the 2013. I'm sure some of you are already aware of this. Okay? So, what are the key documents? And this will be the main gist of what we're going to cover. These are, in a way, the tools that we'll provide to you. Okay? And that's what PwC have done together with IDA. We'll share with you what is a gap analysis report. Essentially, it shares the gap between having MTCS certified, okay, and what are the controls that are required for ISO 27001 2013 certification. Not only we have the gaps in terms of the controls, but we also have the gaps, what we call implementation guideline. Those will be helping you how to address the gaps, okay? And finally, we have something for both the CSPs, cloud service provider, and the auditor, is what the audit checklist, okay? So we believe that with these 3 documents, we will be able to help you make the transition, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is to share with you what are these 3 documents. The first one, a gap analysis report, is really to provide the difference between the requirements listed in MTCS and the 27001 2013. Okay? So the purpose, as we mentioned, is to assist you. Okay. So as a CSP, what you will be interested of is that you want to know the specific area, what are the difference between these two. And this gap analysis report will tell you the differences. Okay, and the CB, same way. Okay, you are a certification body, it will be the same way. Okay. Implementation guide is to assist how you implement. So it goes into more details about implementation and all that. Okay, it's not just a control. You move back from the control to the implementation. Okay. Yeah. And then this is mainly for the CSPs on what you need to do. Okay. And then now come to the audit checklist. Okay. Audit checklist. Essentially, if you are an auditor, this will be very important for you because you are going to use this checklist, okay, as a way to plan your audit, to execute your audit. Okay. And we also think that it's very good to make this open. Okay. In the past, auditors always just keep the checklist themselves, you know. Then you wonder how come you got so report. But I think nowadays, transparency and openness is the way. I mean, you look at the banking sector also, when people come up with guidelines and all that, they come up with audit checklists. It helps you to then set the benchmark as to, you know, ultimately what we want to do is to achieve certification. Okay, so we also have the audit checklist. Yeah. Okay.
So what are the items covered in this document? Gap analysis. So this is just a little snapshot of the gap analysis section in the gap analysis document. Right, so if you look at this, we have two areas where gaps are different across the three levels, level 1, 2, 3 in MTCS, and where gaps are the same for all. So if you see the target clause here is 9.2, if they are different, they will be split into 3 rows. If they are the same, it will just be 1 row. Yeah? So the structure, if you're familiar with the previous direction, is exactly the same. On the implementation guideline, it's slightly different because now we have accumulative gaps. So if you look at this one, if you're in level 3, you only refer to the one in level 1. So why? Level 1 covers all 3 levels, 1 to 3. Right? Level 8.2 covers level 1 and 2. Subsequently, 8.3 will only cover level 1. So this is summarized, this little write-up at the corner. So this, I'm going to stop here because this is something that we need to understand before we move on to the other examples. Yeah. So typically, let's assume that we are all level 1. You need to refer to 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3. So 8.1, 8.2, and the subsequent 8.3. Yeah? Any questions so far on this? Okay, good. Similarly, in the audit checklist, the structure is the same. So we have 3 sections, 8.1, 8.2, and the 8.3. Same concept. If you're level 1, you refer to all 3 sections. If you're level 3, you only refer to 8.1. Okay. So now the more interesting bit would probably to go through the actual gaps. So we have come up with a summary of the gaps covered for level 1 to migrate to 2013, level 2, and level 3. Okay. So we probably have a bit of colors here as well. So the highlight of this particular slide is to mention that more of 50% of the requirements in ISO, they are covered in MTCS level 1. So you see, they're all green, none of them are red. If you recall, in the previous part 1 gap analysis, we actually do have amber and red color. for the gap analysis for the other direction. Yeah, so it's not too bad, but let me just highlight the areas where there are gaps. So first one is on leadership, planning, support, performance evaluation, improvement, asset management, access control, and compliance. Okay. Just to highlight a little bit more on 9, since it has the highest level of changes, 45%, it's mainly on internal audit and management reviews. So a bit more stringent in terms of the controls and more controls in terms of volume. Okay. As you go up to level 2, we'll have less number of gaps. It's only natural because MTCS SS Level 2 has more stringent requirements as compared to level 1. Yeah. Similarly, level 3 is the level with least number of gaps, to move on to ISO 27001, 2013. Right. A bit more detail on the gaps that are covered in the report. So this particular table is an excerpt of section 7.3 in the report. Yeah? So we've listed down all the 24 common gaps across the 3 levels. So what does this mean? If we refer to the first example, 5.2 para 1b, for all 3 levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3, this is a gap. Yeah? So it doesn't matter which level you're certified in, you will still have to address the gaps. So these are the areas again. This is the same with the previous slides that we've covered, and this is just a sub-area. So things like policy, actions to address risks and opportunities, information security objectives, competency, a bit on documentation, internal audit, management review, non-conformity and corrective action, and access control. Okay, don't worry about the numbers. You can refer to the details in the report. Okay, so the list has shrunk for the next level. So just 2 gaps common across level 1 and 2, and 8 only to level 1. So the areas that are only exclusive to level 1 in terms of gaps are operations, asset management, and compliance. So these are very basic, but definitely you have to enhance or add a bit more on these 3 areas.